Still more fireworks since the Diddy verdict, folks, just yesterday being the 4th of July. And another holiday that Diddy would spend in jail after being found not guilty of the two most serious charges that he was facing and also being denied bail. What exactly was on that jail menu yesterday has been revealed. And to think if this man had been granted that bail he was seeking, he could have been out in the free world eating steak and lobster. However, I've got a feeling that no matter what, whatever was on those jail trays yesterday probably was tasting a hell of a lot better than any steak and lobster ever could, knowing that he has just been found not guilty of two charges, one of which with a mandatory minimum of 15 years and the other one carrying upwards of life. Folks, let's go ahead and see what Diddy ate in jail for the 4th of July. Diddy's 4th of July prison menu revealed: breakfast, fruit, cereal, breakfast cakes, and milk. That actually sounds like a really good breakfast. Man, you're getting fruit, cereal, breakfast cakes? What are those, like Dunkin' sticks? Lunch: hamburger, bean burger, 2 hot dogs or soy dogs, mac and cheese, green beans, and fruit. These meals are actually sounding like really good meals to be eating while locked up. Now, it goes without saying that on special days, holidays, you do receive a holiday meal. But usually that's served at lunchtime, and then for dinner time, you get a bag lunch. But it looks like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, where Diddy's locked up at, were all boss trays. And speaking of that dinner tray, baked fish or black beans, buttered noodles, mixed vegetables, 2 pieces of white bread, and juice. And like I said, that food's got to be tasting a hell of a lot better, knowing that this man went from facing life to probably only a maximum of like 5 years. Also, since the verdict was reached in Diddy's trial, there have been more people coming out of the woodwork speaking out, including an alternate jury member who said that when they watched the freak off footage, they said that those videos were very graphic, but didn't seem forced, describing the scenes as pretty tame with just a lot of rubbing oil.
Was it forced?
No, it didn't seem forced. It was actually like pretty tame.
Really?
Yeah.
Did she?
It was just a lot of rubbing oil and stuff on there. It wasn't anything too graphic.
And also with this one potential alternate jury member speaking their piece on what they felt in relation to this footage that was shared throughout this trial. You got to imagine that if they felt this way, there were other members of the jury who felt the same way as well. TMZ also continues to rip every last piece of fruit from the Diddy tree possible, even going as far as interviewing Jose Baez. And for those of you who don't know, Jose Baez is a very prominent, high-profile criminal defense lawyer who actually represented Cassie Anthony during her murder trial. And TMZ would interview this lawyer about the possibility of Diddy reestablishing his image after prison. Defense attorney Jose Baez: Diddy will bounce back from this. And if he doesn't, at least he's still rich. Yeah, that's one good way of looking at it.
Pride to go forward in her life, but everybody still remembers it. Is that going to be the same with Diddy?
I don't think so. I think Diddy's going to be fine. I think he'll bounce back fine. Remember, this is an entertainer who, well, he's not a rapper. He's a rap producer, and he deals in that world where, quite frankly, I don't think it's going to affect him all that much. Now, higher corporate sponsors may shy away from him for a while, but as far as the music business is concerned, I don't think it's going to affect him at all.
Jose Baez, I give you credit where credit's due. You are a very good lawyer, but a public image person, I got to disagree with you completely with everything that you just shared right there. Saying that he's going to bounce back just fine from this, I don't personally think that he does. In fact, I don't think that there's any coming back from this at all. Now, granted, there are certainly people who are jumping all over the Diddy bandwagon all of a sudden since he beat Rico and also the sex trafficking charge. But make no mistake, even though on paper, or at least on the internet, that carbon footprint, where people are kind of coming out of the woodwork supporting Diddy possibly subconsciously or indirectly, I should say. I really don't believe anybody is really going to be rocking with this dude. Brands, labels, artists. But like Jose Baez said right there, he does have money. At least he's still rich. I feel like after prison for Diddy, it's definitely going to be a lot of under the radar, staying out of the spotlight. But let's talk about some of that indirect support for Diddy. People kind of going at Kid Cudi, somewhat calling him a snitch. Kid Cudi testified against Puff for nothing. Some of the comments on this post would actually bring up a good point, saying it's not like Kid Cudi did this on his own. He was subpoenaed by the federal government to testify against Diddy. But does Kid Cudi's image take a hit from this? We saw footage and photos of this man walking in and out of the courtroom, smoking 1,000 cigarettes. Buddy was stressed from this. I personally think there's going to be a lot of people who never forget Kid Cudi from the Diddy trial. And talk about fireworks. Here's one of the most interesting things that I've seen since this verdict, where now Cassie is being villainized herself by the likes of people like Funkmaster Flex. Calls out Cassie post Diddy acquittal. I don't see you as a victim. In fact, basically calling Cassie a robber. He said, you threatened to drop a book, then got paid out to not drop the book. If you cared so much to get your message out, you would have dropped the book, Funkmaster Flex said. He said, you planned this lick. Folks, a lick is a robbery. Please don't be mad at me, but I don't see you as a victim. You was young. Diddy made bad choices and you made bad choices. When do you plan to teach girls not to make the same mistakes you made? I've even seen mention in relation to Cassie, and this is crazy to note, that people had said she deserved to be charged right along with Diddy with all those same charges, given the fact that allegedly she was such a complicit part and also orchestrator of these freak-offs, saying that she helped to set these things up, called the escort, arranged the meet, and even paid them. All the while saying that she enjoyed these freak-offs. Information that was learned from text messages. Another person coming out the woodwork with an opinion on this verdict is Diddy's ex-personal chef, who says that she's traumatized and feels terrified after he was acquitted of the most serious charges. Verdict is a disgrace. I do not feel safe. Former Diddy chef.
As one of the actual minor victims to Sean Combs' physical assault while I was employed by him, as someone who was a witness to the abuse towards Cassandra Ventura Vine during my time of working for Sean Combs, I would just like to say that this is a grave miscarriage of justice. And I would like to also address that last year on March 20th, I was contacted by the federal government. They showed up at my door with badges. I refused to speak to them because I was terrified. So I was served with a grand jury subpoena that day before they left my home in Atlanta, Georgia. I confided in 3 different people about that visit from the feds.
I'm just trying to understand why she's talking like this. Like every word is so much enunciation behind each word, like trying to make it seem like what she's sharing is so freaking powerful. You said that you witnessed all of this alleged abuse toward Cassie for years, but you didn't say anything. Now all of a sudden you're what, some sort of a martyr? Some sort of an advocate, an activist for justice? You were subpoenaed by the federal government and you refused that.
Terrified is actually an understatement. By April 11th of 2024, I was being contacted by Sean Combs' initial lawyer, Aaron Dyer. I have a voicemail that he left and text messages stating that Mr. Combs was aware of the visit from the government and that they would like to extend to cover my legal fees. These are facts. This, in my opinion, was witness tampering. I was supposed to testify this year on May 20th.
Why does it sound like what she's saying she's being forced to do so at gunpoint? Where was all of this information during the trial? No shit, she's being crucified in the comments section. All that you're sharing right here could have potentially had a major impact on this case.
I was in New York. It was announced. It was on CNN that I was supposed to be testifying, and I was pulled because I flipped out on the government. These are also facts. I want to be very clear. As a victim, as a former employee of Sean Combs, I do not feel safe. I am extremely traumatized. I do not know where to go from here. I did submit my own letter to the judge. I stand by everything that I said. I knew that he beat Cassie Ventura fine in 2009. I know that she was dragged from the vehicle, okay? I know that I saw her 2 days later at the London hotel when me and one of his assistants brought her a bag, okay?
Yeah, I'm done with you, okay? Great testimony for clout on the internet is what it seems like to me. Not sure why we've got all of this energy all of a sudden. You were supposed to testify, but you flipped out on the government. I mean, shit. I know what you're trying to do. Actually, I don't know what you're trying to do right there. But what it certainly seems like is you the reason why Diddy's coming home. He's coming home. Tell the world he's coming home. This shit's like frickin' Freddy Krueger. Nightmare on Diddy Street is, folks, what people are feeling like. Folks, even one of the exotic dancers has spoken out since the verdict has been reached. And this was actually somebody who had slept with Cassie and said that he believes the jury made the right decision in the Diddy trial. I've actually seen a couple of, whether it be the dancers or the escorts, who have said similar things. Folks, no matter how you feel, it is what it is. The verdict has been reached. Whether you see that as unfortunate or favorable, there have been plenty of people who have said that they feel like the right verdict was reached. Personally, I don't feel one way or another in relation to the verdict. I just tried to share the information that I run across and form an opinion based upon that particular information. Again, I do find it very crazy that this guy was not given a bail, given the fact that he was definitely eligible for one. But make no mistake of it, it will certainly still be interesting and probably more fireworks on October the 3rd at 10 a.m. when sentence is imposed for Sean Diddy Combs. How much time do you think he's going to receive on that day? Folks, I hope you found some interest in this video. If you did so, please leave a like and a comment letting me know exactly what you think. If you find yourself new here on After Prison Show, enjoying this content but not yet subscribed, please consider doing so and turning on bell notifications so that you never miss an upload from us. It would greatly be appreciated and go a long ways to helping to support this channel. As always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world, never take a moment for granted, and make the most of every day. Peace!